How many of you know this medicine, Postinor 2? A lot of young people in Nigeria abuse this every single day without knowing about the consequences. Today we have on our show Nurse Chidima. She's going to be educating young Nigerians about the consequences of using Postinor 2 all the time. This is the Lucky Udu experience.
A lot of people don't know how to calculate their cycle length. Take for instance now, you see that some people will say that they have taken the drugs, still they got pregnant.
You mean that in a month, a lady only just have one window, just a day to get pregnant?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You mean that if she doesn't get pregnant on that day, she cannot get pregnant again?
For that cycle length, that's for a month.
Are you serious?
Sure. So the best bet to this is just for you to know your cycle length. Because you continue to take it 4 times, 5 times in a month. You are just abusing the drug. It's not doing anything. This prescription you are making now, remember, like I said, there are certain conditions, there are certain factors that are being considered while making prescription. The best time for you to go to hospital is when you can walk in there with your 2 legs than when you are being carried to that. Because those things that you have been trying to attend to, you are going to abandon all of them and then be confined to your bed for as long as it will take for you to recover.
Ma, you see a lot of people in Nigeria abuse Postinor 2 every day and they don't even know about its consequences. What do you have to tell them about it?
A lot of drug is being abused, but on the part of emergency contraceptive pill, I think it's best to say it that way because Postinor 2 is just a brand on its own. So this particular emergency contraceptive pill, what it contains is what we call levonorgestrel. That is the content of that drug. And then you now talk of what this drug does. What it does is just to prevent ovulation from happening. Because once there is fertilization, even if you take dozens of it, it won't do anything. And as we said, emergency is an unplanned occasion. But a situation whereby your own emergency becomes regular is no longer an emergency. Is now a frequent occurrence and you should put a permanent solution to that. So there is an alternative for someone who knows that he or she will be experiencing such emergencies every day. You can consider other live birth controls because this contraceptive, and for a woman, you should know that you have it's on just one day, 12 to 24 hours in a cycle length for you to get pregnant. So why should you now be taking contraceptive more than once in a month? So as a young girl, you should know how to calculate your cycle. Because if you calculate it well, it's just 12 to 24 hours. That's the only time ovulation occurs. So if you're able to track your cycle, maybe you can avoid that time. But you continuing to take it every day, every time, is no longer an emergency. You should consider a birth control that is good for you.
Wait, if I'm trying to understand what you just said, you mean that in a month, a lady only just have one window, just a day to get pregnant?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You mean that if she doesn't get pregnant on that day, she cannot get pregnant again?
For that cycle length, that's for a month.
Are you serious?
Sure.
So it's the responsibility of the girl to now know.
See what happens. A lot of people don't know how to calculate their cycle length. So why you think, like, take for instance now, you see that some people will say that they have taken the drugs, still they got pregnant. It's because maybe you didn't take it at the right time. If you want to use emergency contraception, there are indications for it. You don't just get something and start abusing it. Indications include when there is condom breakage, cases of maybe you're on a birth control pills and you miss it for once. It has altered things. So you may need to take the emergency contraceptive pills if you have unprotected sex. And remember, in cases of unprotected sexual intercourse, it's not just pregnancy that is the consequence. There are so many consequences, including STIs, HIV, and all of that. But these ones, people, because of the way it's being viewed, maybe it's done out of wedlock and all of that. The stigmatization and the way people judge people, they tend to do a lot of things. So when it comes to emergency contraceptive pills, if there is need for you to take the drug, it should be done within 72 hours after the act.
Mm.
Like I said, it's only once you have to conceive in a cycle length. What happens is that when for fertilization to occur, the woman will bring her own gametes, likewise the man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a situation whereby a girl maybe had sex few days before the ovulation. You may not know, you may have taken the drugs and all of that, or you may not even take the drugs. So if you have the sperm has lifespan of 3 to 5 days in the body. Do you understand? That's why some people will be like, no, I'm not sure, because when I was ovulating or whatever, the sperm might still be living in the body for the period of that time that happened. Do you understand? So the best bet to this is just for you to know your cycle length. If you know your cycle length, you can calculate it. And because you continue to take it 4 times, 5 times in a month, you are just abusing the drug. It's not doing anything. And remember, like I said, if fertilization has occurred, there is nothing you're going to do about it.
So what are the dangers of people abusing this drug, and what's the safest thing to do?
Like I said, the dangers associated with abuse of emergency contraceptive pills, one is irregular menses. Irregular menses in the sense that it's going to disrupt your cycle length. If you're able to track it before, it will make it difficult for you. Then other things can be hormonal imbalance. Because when those things are happening, like when there is ovulation, there are certain hormones that will be high, some will be low. So when you take those drugs, it tends kind of disrupted. Like I said, what the levonorgestrel does is disrupting ovulation from occurring. Either it delays it or it prevents it totally. So when that is happening, it's cutting off some hormones. The one that should be high at that time will be low, and all of this. This thing can also affect your ability to, like, maybe conceive or a lot of things, or start causing some signs for the individual. But one thing you have to know, because it's kind of maybe say like a misconception that it can cause infertility issues, and there is no evidence, there is no study that backs that. So it's not a fact. It doesn't cause fertility issues. But the only thing is that when you continue to abuse it, it can affect your cycle length, which can make it difficult for you to track your cycles or track when you are most fertile.
I would like to ask you how a lady can track that her cycle properly. But before that, I'm curious to know, how do young people get to know about Postinor 2? Is it from social media or from schools or from their environment? How do they get to know about it? Is it that they get educated in their family, or they just get to hear about it on social media, or they get educated in school? Where do you think they get this information from? Because this is something a lot of people know, and they've not had any formal education about sex. Okay. But somehow they know it.
Now, nothing is difficult to access. The Google is there. Once you ask some certain questions, it will bring it out for you. And another thing, you have to look at peer pressure. Do you understand? But one thing you have to know is that when it comes to drugs, I always say that you don't just, no matter how simple it looks like, self-medication is never good for you. Because when a prescription is being made by a doctor, don't just see that it's a simple thing. There are certain things that are being considered. Your weight, your health background, a lot of things that are being looked into before a particular drug, maybe the dosage, is being prescribed for you. So one thing that makes it as in this young, this generation now, is that they have access to a lot of things via internet. Maybe Google, they can ask a lot of questions. Then peer pressure. And then sometimes poor parenting, because if you're able to educate your child very well, some of them might be able to open up to you. And, and it is important we start it from homes to start teaching them. Let me tell you, there is nothing too early for the child to know. Because if you don't tell them at the initial time, they are going to learn it outside. And when they learn it, they'll be afraid to come and tell you what they learned. But if you're able to expose the child, tell the child, this is this, name it the way it is. Do you understand? Tell the person the implication of whatever he or she is indulging in tomorrow. That will now help even if another person teaches her otherwise, she will try to like compare the two, or even come back to you and tell you, look at what I got from this place, and then you'll be able to now straight it out and tell her, look at the correct thing to do or not. So poor parenting is contributing to it, peer pressure, and then the age we're in, the free access we have to a lot of information there in the internet.
And to think that people have access to Google, but they don't read it well enough to understand how to use it properly. I think a very few percentage of people only use Google for things like this. Why I'm saying that is because a lot of people abuse it without knowing. Personally, I did not know about this until now, but Google is available to me. This is to say that enough information is not available to young people. And I feel like the government should be responsible for educating young people about the use and abuse of those drugs. Do you think Postinor 2 is a threat? Sorry, I'm using the word Postinor 2. She just educated me that Postinor 2 is a brand name. That the main thing is that it is called an emergency contraceptive pill. And there are so many brands. Can you list other brands?
No.
Okay, don't want to list it. Okay. So, what did I even say? I've even forgotten. So, I still have more questions to ask you. Now, if a man has sex with a lady, what is something the lady can take to prevent pregnancy naturally for a lady that doesn't know her cycle, or when it's safe for her to have sex?
Like we are talking now, one of the things you can use to prevent pregnancy in cases of unprotected is that emergency contraceptive pill. And like we're saying about the abuse, you can't just be using it every time. It depends on the individual. If you have a partner that you trust, fine and good, it depends on you. Then there are other ways you can prevent it using barrier method, which is condom. We have the male one. Aside this issue of pregnancy, like I said, there are other consequences which is more severe than pregnancy. Pregnancy is even the least of them. HIV is something that someone will have to live with throughout her life. You have to depend on drugs throughout your life. So think of that one. And how sure are you with the person you are allowing? So you have to protect your life. So first, pregnancy is a minor thing. So the best thing for the individual, either you abstain or you have to use protection for your own good. Because you cannot be having emergency every day. If emergency occurs every day, it's no longer an emergency. It's no longer unplanned because you know it's going to happen again.
And taking it too much will go a long way to affect the individual body. So it's always very important to see a doctor, like she mentioned. A doctor will examine you properly, will know about your health background, look at your weight, your age, and so many other things before recommending the appropriate drug for you. So always reach out to a doctor, have a family doctor, which is important. Young people have this popular opinion that you can use lime and is it Mirinda, be 7-Up?
Those things are not factual.
They are not factual, so you don't recommend it as a
What is the content of lemon? And that's what you ask. What does it contain? What does it contain? What's the work of what it contains? Because people get up and say a lot of things that those things are not factual. So I cannot back it up. I cannot give an explanation to that because I don't know about it. It's not factual.
If you go on TikTok right now, where this platform TikTok is a platform that is holding the attention of many young Nigerians, and you see a lot of videos from people who claim to be nurses. Nobody knows if they are auxiliary nurses, but as long as they are putting on that uniform, they will just be making videos, dancing and be pointing their hand here and be mentioning things. And a lot of young people in the comment section take this medical advice very seriously. I don't even know how to call it a medical advice or what. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, it's something I see every day. See, when it comes to medical care, it involves a team. And each team has their roles and responsibility. And what makes you a professional is acting within your school. Because whenever you are called upon, you are going to give expertise care. So it's not that we don't prescribe drugs. But when it comes to hospital, no. When you come to the hospital, there is a work a nurse will do for you. There is a work a doctor will do. Not that the nurse might not have knowledge about that. Do you understand? She will have you will have a knowledge that she can advise you on. But coming out to the public and be making prescriptions, this prescription you are making now, remember, like I said, there are certain conditions, there are certain factors that are being considered while making prescription. Do you know the individual maybe makeup? Because in as much as we are all here now, we have our own personal differences, individual idiosyncrasy. You have your own genetic makeup. Those things are being considered before giving medications. To me, that act is not good and should be discouraged, because a lot of people coming on that comment section will just pick it up. Person might not even know the dosage. The person might not even know if she might be having an existing medical condition that contradicts the use of that particular product. How would the individual know? So that is it. You're supposed to like get to hospital, see a doctor, but our people see it that is a whole lot is a difficult thing to go there. There is no time. They don't go to hospital till they're being wheeled to the hospital. But let me tell you, the best time for you to go to hospital is when you can walk in there with your 2 legs, than when you are being carried to that. Because those things that you have been trying to attend to, you are going to abandon all of them and then be confined to your bed for as long as it will take for you to recover. So those content, to me, it is not completely okay, because a lot of people are going to abuse it. And you being in the profession knows that there are certain factors that are being considered before medications are being prescribed for any individual. And here, if you come to hospital, nurses will do their own. Doctors makes the prescription. Nurses can administer. Then the pharmacists will dispense. Everybody has their role. We all are professionals, but you have to act within your scope. So like you said, might be auxiliary. They might not be. I don't know what they are, but if you are acting as a professional, you can't just open your mouth and start mentioning drugs to the patient or individuals. They can easily abuse it. So I think they need to start checking on those things, maybe put a check on it, or how people kind of disperse such information to individuals, because we don't know how they use it at their own end.
I think the government still has a lot of work to do, sensitizing social media, right?
Yes.
Because there are so many people that are just in the business of disseminating information that they do not research fully well about, and they speak so confidently. They even try to make you believe them.
I think why they do that is because they want to gain followers, then that engagement. Because people come and start asking you on that. They might not even have intention of explaining anything to you. And people, they just like something that if it's quick fix, just give me a solution. I don't even know. I don't want to know how it works. But when you now have issues with it, you now be like, this is where I learned it or something like. There are so many implications to that thing they do, because somebody can easily pick it up and do and use it and then come back and say, this is where I learned it. And if they go back to your page, they'll see that actually you put it out there. So in a way, you are answerable to it.
So those of you that are always in the business of dressing up, looking like nurses, even when some of you are not even registered nurses, and you are giving out professional why would I even call it professional advice? You are giving out advice that people presume to be professional advice. You need to be very careful, because your videos, people watch it and people might take it seriously, and you might not know what the outcome is going to look like. So please be very careful what information you put out there, as you could be endangering the lives of so many young people, especially people living in rural environment that only have access to internet because of the little data on their phone, but might not have access to good access to a doctor, right? Because
or even research further on that particular drug. So
please be very careful. Ma, there's a question I wanted to ask in the beginning. It's about how a girl can track her cycle properly. A lot of people use a certain app called Flow, right? I don't know if that's the app you recommend, or they can do it without this app.
You can do it without your app. See, one thing is it's a simple thing. But the only thing is that, when you don't have the right information, because there is knowledge gap in that among our girls. Maybe either they didn't pay attention when it's been taught, because I know that back then in secondary school or even primary school, we're all taught like a little bit about puberty. Then during biology class, they teach all those things. Then maybe if you are the kind of person that might go back, you can learn more on your own. So it's easy to track. The only thing you just need is just to keep a track of how it comes. Take, for instance, your cycle starts today, the first day you see your drop when it starts, which is 6th of August now. You have to keep these dates and then wait till the next cycle. This cycle will end a day to the next cycle. Take, for instance, you have a 28-day cycle. So now this one happened maybe on 6th. Then you're expecting another one on 4th of maybe September. So now the cycle length started from 6th to 3rd of September. So you're going to count the days, maybe like 27 days, 28 days. Do you understand? This is one cycle length you have recorded. Then for the month of September, it started on 4th. You note it down. It started on the 4th. You write it and wait till when it will come on October. Therefore, it will now start on October on 2nd. You now count the days from that 4th to 1st. That's another cycle length because another one is starting on 2nd. You just do it like this till maybe for like period of 6 months. Within those months, like for the month of August to September, maybe you had 28 days. The month of September to October, you had 27 days. Just like that. After which you add all of them together and divide to get your average. You might get 27.5. You might get 28. When you get such, that shows that your cycle length is 27.5, approximately 28 or 27. So even there is going to be a difference, it'll just be like 1 day or 2 days difference. That will help you to have an idea when you are going to see it. And also add maybe the signs you normally get. That can also give you an idea when it's going to come. That's just the simple way for you to calculate your cycle length. So if you're able to like track it continuously for a period of 6 months or 1 year, divide it with the number of the months, get your average. That means that is your cycle length. That is how to calculate it. It's very easy. Then if you like to use the app, fine. You can. There are a lot of them there. Some people
app
use it.
Calculate it for you automatically.
And
so how do you know your free days?
Like I said, it's only 12 to 24 hours that is your ovulation day. So it's usually 14 days from the first day. So you just have to, depending on how some people have short period, long, and normal. Average is usually 28 days. Then the long ones has to be with 35 days length. So it depends on the individual. Then you can then calculate it from that first day, count it for 14 days, 15 days, first 2 weeks. That will help you to like know that let me take for instance, we are using 28-day cycle now to calculate. Let me just use for one cycle.
Is it possible to not use the word cycle so that younger people would understand it very well? And people who may not understand anything about cycle, like guys, can also understand.
Okay.
Like I like the example you used previously. Let's say if your period starts on the 6th of August and then ends, if you do it that way, maybe people can understand it better.
Because we have both short period, long period, and normal. They usually use 28 to be the average. The first 2 weeks following it. So that's your 14th day being the ovulation day. There is high chance, that's why they ask 3 days before and 3 days after. Kind of that 1 week window period. They call it window period. It's only 1 day that is happening. You can be before or after the period. They will not advise you that maybe you want to like achieve pregnancy at that time. This is the time you have your fertility, you have high fertile. That is your high fertile period. So that time you can try if you can actually get pregnant. So if let me just repeat this one. I'm going to use 28 days period cycle length period. So now if someone's period is 28 days, first 14 days, the 14th day is the ovulation period. So counting from that day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day to the 14th day, which is the day it's gonna happen. So to be on a safe side, because sometimes it might come before than even expect, but from the calculation is what it's going to be. For individuals that has that 14th day and you actually want to have a baby maybe that time, The fertile window is 3 days before the ovulation day, which happens to be on 14th day, and 3 days after. That is when you have that high chances. If you can remember, I told you that the lifespan of the sperm takes up to 3 to 5 days. So the chances of you having something to do at that time, the sperm might still be there till you ovulate, and that will increase your chances of having. So getting pregnant, your chance is just 1 day in a period, the length of your cycle or period, whichever one you want to see it as.
Interesting. Wow. So I hope we all learned something new today. This is something a lot of young people should know, but unfortunately, most African parents shy away from having this kind of discussion, or not even call it a discussion, or an education with their children. They somehow believe that their children will get to know about it, but they do not even calculate the risks of letting their children know about it in their own way. The school's responsibility is to teach it, but they don't teach it well enough. And then parents are supposed to educate their own children, but somehow they believe that their children will get to understand better. How are they supposed to understand? You leave your children to learn from their peers who you don't even know very well, or to learn from social media that is not so censored. Anybody can wake up and give out information, and there will be liabilities, there will be issues. So it is the responsibility of Lucky Udu Studio to educate Nigerians. It's our social responsibility. This is what I've always wanted to do all my life. I told myself that when I started this platform, this is something that I'll be doing. And Nurse Chidima, thank you so much for squeezing out your time to educate young Nigerians about this topic. I hope that you've been able to satisfy the curiosity of young people. And if there's something she has not said that you are really interested in, please indicate it in the comment section. We'll be more than happy to have her again. Amma, please, if there's something I was supposed to ask you concerning this topic that I did not ask that you would like to weigh in on, then you are very free to address it. Is there anything?
No.
There's nothing?
No.
All right, guys. So thank you for watching this episode of the Lucky Udu Experience. The audio version is going to be uploaded on Spotify. If you find this useful, informative, do well to share it. If you are part of groups where there are teenagers, just share to every kind of guy. I feel like this information is valuable. You have younger sisters, you have a girlfriend, you should make her watch this video. It is very important. You just cannot risk it, my friend. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next episode. Bye.
Hi guys, thank you for watching this episode of the Lucky Udu Experience. Please, if you would like to assist anyone, please reach out to the number on the screen. We are the follow-up team of the Lucky Udu Studio, and I am Bright.
I'm David.
I'm Latifa.
Veronica.
I'm Messi.
Our job as the follow-up team is to make sure that everyone who shares their story are not left unattended. My colleague will walk you through on how the follow-up team was created.
Let me walk you through the history of why we created the follow-up team. Over the years, we discovered that people reach out to our guests pretending to help them, while the sole aim is to take advantage of them. Because of this, we stopped putting out our guest phone number online to protect them from these predators.
We are seeing some situations where people receive support and do not use the money for what it's meant for. They stop replying to our messages and stop giving updates, leaving people that support wondering what happened. That makes it look like nothing was done, and effort of Lucky Udu Studio are not seen.
So the reason the follow-up team was created is simple. We want to track every story, know what support came in, and confirm it was used the right way. That is why we are seeking the cooperation of the public. Whether you are watching from Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, or anywhere else, we need your support to make this work. Cooperating with the follow-up team helps you in many ways. It helps you know that your support is going to the right place. It also helps the world see that this platform is truly changing lives. At the end of the day, this is not just about telling stories. It is about changing lives.
We are calling out for sponsorship and partnership. Every day we interview different kinds of people with all kinds of stories. Among are those who need help with school, health, therapists, sponsors, justice, legal support, business training, or even someone just to talk to. We need partnership to grow this brand. We can do more and we can go further. But to do that, we need support from the right people. If you would like to be a partner or sponsor, kindly reach out through the email address on the screen. luckyudustudio@gmail.com. Once again, we are the follow-up team and we're doing our best to keep this platform impactful and transparent. Thank you for watching and thank you for being part of the Lucky Udu experience.
Bye.